Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on into yet another Rooted podcast brought to you by our awesome friends over at Green Bros, home of the world's leading cannabis harvesting solutions. Check them out, greenbros.com. Tim Strobel coming to you again from our Rooted Production podcast studios out here in beautiful Denver, Colorado. Things are starting to warm up. The foliage is starting to bloom. The trees are starting to come back. Grass is starting to grow again. All very exciting stuff out here after a frigid winter. Thanks for tuning in, be it on iTunes, SoundCloud, or StayRooted.com. Quick reminder that we actually just released our Tommy Chong podcast interview this past week. So track back an episode and give it a listen if you don't mind. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're listening so you don't miss our upcoming podcast episode with entertainment icon Jim Belushi. That episode was so fun to film. He invited us to his house in LA, a beautiful place. Got to sit and talk with Jim about a lot of stuff. And he's someone that you need to be following in this industry because he's doing it all for the right reasons. And they're doing some really cool stuff over there, especially up in Oregon. Now, in case you're more of a video watcher than a podcast listener, you can also check out Rooted TV, our bi-weekly web series on Cannabis Club TV, High Times TV, Harvest TV, and of course our website, StayRooted.com. We have our latest episodes featuring our Tommy Chong interview, the video of the interview at his house in LA, which was super cool. And then, of course, our next episode will feature our Jim Belushi interviews. So, check them out on those platforms or StayRooted.com for more information there. Okay, I'm pumped for the show today as we're going to be doing something a little bit different, something we haven't done on this show before, and that's welcoming a guest who was just on the show. Okay, that guest is Scarlet Ravin, author of the book, The Next Level, Cannabis Wisdom for Our World, and Follow the Medicine, Awakening Self-Empowerment, in addition to also being the founder of White Fox, where spirit leads to medicine. Now, we just interviewed Scarlett a couple podcasts ago, so you can track back. You can learn all about her company, her incredible journey, and what she's trying to do in both the cannabis and CBD realms moving forward. They're a company, they produce a beautiful vaporizer product, a great line of CBD products as well, including vaporizers for CBDs. She's a lifelong entrepreneur. She dropped some real knowledge on us the last time she was on the show, so I do recommend going out and checking that out. Anyways, she reached out with a very interesting idea, so we had to jump on it. We're doing kind of a mini episode this week in that we only have a handful of things to cover. So we're not going to waste too much time. We're going to jump right into our interview in just a minute. I just want to tell you real quick, our podcast brought to you by Green Bros, home of the world's leading cannabis harvesting solutions. And Green Bros just announced the launch of their new Model M dry trimmer, which takes all the amazing traits from your Green Bros 420 model dry trimmer and ramps everything up a notch. It features surgical stainless steel construction and an impressive yet simplified design that means this new dry trimmer still puts up serious volume while being easy to break down, clean, and reassemble. The control panel has been moved completely outside the machine so you can power wash it, scrub it down, all without fear of harming your machine, speeding up your turn time and making processing even faster for your grow. Also, the new stainless steel design means no nooks or crannies, ensuring that your machine stays clean and compliant with regulations for now and for years to come. This is just another Green Bros machine you have to see to believe. You got to check these guys out, okay? Hit them up, 844-379-8746, 844-379-8746, or info@greenbros.com. Okay, without any further delay, let's go ahead and bring in our guest this afternoon. Again, Scarlet Ravin, multiple-time published author and founder of White Fox, where spirit leads to medicine. You can check them out, whitefoxatmospheres.com, or you can check out their CBD product line specifically at whitefoxnectars.com. Scarlet, welcome on in. Thanks for hitting me up, by the way. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we're psyched to get you back on the show. Now, to give the listeners some context, we had done an interview a couple weeks ago, and since then we'd followed up with a couple emails back and forth about a couple different things. And you randomly hit me up with this idea, and I just need you to share it because it came to you kind of in a real organic fashion, and then you decided this needs to happen. How do we figure out how this happens? Can you share the idea with me?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm always contemplating next steps for White Fox and how we can expand and grow and get to our next level in the nation. And I was down in Los Angeles, and everyone around me was talking about their fascination with this guy, James Cameron. And at the time, I hadn't known or I didn't recognize who he was. But because the name kept coming into my field, I did a little research and I realized he created Avatar. Once I kind of heard about that, I had another friend inform me that he's done the deepest sea dives out of anyone else in the world. And it struck a chord with me because what that means to me is that he has the ability to create a new world within this world. So he's a visionary. And I felt a true alignment in my heart with him and the way he sees the world. And I got an intuitive hit that he would be a phenomenal partner. I don't know in what way, but to somehow collaborate and work with White Fox to expand the vision. And as I was sitting with this, I was receiving more and more information in terms of the alignment with the Navi people, who are the people in Avatar, who hold the space and carry the wisdom of connecting us back to nature and back to the animal kingdom and showing up with love and truth and integrity in our hearts rather than taking in greed and monopolizing. So there's so many chord alignments between White Fox and the Avatar vision. And what I see is us taking White Fox into the world with that same vision and that same branding and that same awakening for the people here and now.
So then the next step is you wake up with this idea and you're kind of feeding it like a garden and you're stoking the fire and you're trying to figure out, okay, I need to bring this into reality. So what are the first kind of things you think in terms of let's make it happen? What are your next steps after that? Because it's such a grandiose vision that you then have to bottle down into kind of layers of steps to get to that end goal, right?
Totally. So there was action steps already. I asked Spirit, give me a sign. If this is something that's going to come into fruition, show me. And I opened up my Instagram that day to do a post. And James Cameron was the first picture that came up. And he was wearing a shirt with a white fox on it. And so for me, I was like, okay, there's my sign. And I packed up my car and I ended up driving to LA. And I sat in his lawyer's office trying to get a care package to James, which didn't quite happen yet, but it was that action step that led me into saturating myself deeper into the LA scene, getting the care box possibly to his wife through a mutual friend, and then coming back up here and thinking, how can I increase the signal? And then that was when I reached out to you and I thought, okay, I'm going to contact people that have platforms that'll share the vision. And then sooner or later, he's going to see it.
Well, that's absolutely crazy. If it happens, I mean, we would obviously just love to be a part of making something like that happen. It's just great stuff. Now, most people who have an idea like this might wake up and say, no way, like I don't feel big enough, or I don't feel like it's my place to just come out here with this idea and find a way to make it happen. And they give up right there. What makes you think you can make something like this happen?
I guess I feel and see everyone as an infinite being, and we all have a true purpose in this world. And we all have it's an old story of having two wolves inside of us. And which wolf are we going to feed? Are we going to feed the love and inspired and the go for it wolf? Or are we going to feed the fear shut down wolf? And whatever we're thinking in our minds, and whatever we're kind of projecting mentally with stories or visions is what we're going to feel in our body. So if you're projecting fear and you think you're small and it's not going to happen, then you'll feel that and you'll shut down. If you make a mental choice to focus on love and expansion and the ability to accomplish anything, that's how you're going to feel and you're going to go for it. And it's something that I talk to my clients about every day. The power that we have is infinite. And with the universe and spirit behind us and we follow our visions, that's how these amazing things happen. That's how James Cameron dove the deepest in all the oceans. He knew that he could, and he followed that to his core. And it's that energy that I want to awaken or inspire in people.
Now, is manifesting something into reality, like you said? I know you've gone on some spiritual journeys in your life and been in different areas of learning and working on yourself and stuff like that. Is manifesting something into reality something that you were always kind of able to do, or did you have to learn that like a skill?
I think I was born with a super special gift to have that. I was manifesting things at young ages, and whenever I wanted something as a kid, I always made it happen, and my parents reflected back how I was super good at that as well. So I did get positive feedback at a young age. My life has been super unique. I've traveled to really unique places. I've met very unique teachers, and I live in an imaginative world, and I believe in that world. So I'm assisted by the right side of the brain and the heart field. And truly, like Albert Einstein clarified this for a lot of us, our vibration, like the whole universe is built on attraction. So if we're vibrating out this specific energy, the universe is going to attract in that same energy. How do we get the energy in our body? It's from our thoughts. So really training the mind and choosing our thought patterns will then kind of press that into us deeper.
And I think the concept of belief and stuff like that is something that different people hold differently in their heart, and it's something that can come with doubt also with certain people. You have belief and then you have doubt. Do you deal with doubt and those voices that come up and say, Scarlet, that's a stupid idea, it'll never work? What pushes you through that?
I'd say in the past I dealt with doubt quite a bit. I trained my way through it. I retrained the belief patterns and the stuff in my brain. I think a lot of our school systems are currently set up to kind of squash that imaginative brain and to kind of put us into these little boxes and tell us what we have to do, which kind of cuts the cord to that belief that we can do anything. And so for me, I did affirmations for a year straight, and I wrote out who I wanted to become for a year straight. And I really unwound and dissolved the societal beliefs that do crush us down and are built to ignite doubt within us. So having the insight to see what your belief patterns are and then choosing the ones that you want to obtain is the path.
So now, obviously, James Cameron is someone who comes from the mainstream, the film world. How does, I guess, let's back up a second. Start with White Fox. Tell me about the brand White Fox, and then tell me about how you see that brand identifying kind of with James Cameron through the movie Avatar, and then how this would kind of play out long term. Let's say he picks up the phone, calls you, and says, let's do it. What's the vision there?
Yeah, it's so exciting to talk about with you. So White Fox really represents, and all of the women and men that are inside the company, we really hold the space and represent coming to your heart, sharing your heart, and then showing up in an active service. And what that means is that we are respecting nature, and we are connected to nature, and we are seeing everybody's highest self and holding that for our clients and everyone that we're working with. So we do trainings together. We hire different yogis to come in and teach us breath practices. We come back to our heart. We're all committed to evolving outside of the company. So there's those layers that are physically implemented into the White Fox system. I see the Na'vi people in Avatar carrying that same energy of respecting nature, respecting everyone around you. When that's acted out in a term of like, we see nature, we respect nature, we're showing up in love, it's going to shift our whole planet. If we can really implement that vision on a large scale, my vision is to have that be outside of the movie, implemented into the nation through a brand that also has resources and networks to support people in coming into alignment with the vision and joining the vision. And I mean, could you imagine what the planet would be like if we were all Na'vis again? It's a really sweet person in my life uses the term future ancient. So we're taking all the ancient teachings of being one with nature and we're bringing them into the future and we're implementing them in a new way.
Real quick, again, I want to let you all know this podcast brought to you by our awesome friends over at Green Bros, home of the world's premier dry harvesting solutions. From small-scale cultivations all the way up to commercial grows, Green Bros dry trimmers, trichome extractors, destemmers, sorters, precision batchers, rosin presses, all these different machines want to save you time, money, and labor. Check them out, greenbros.com, or call 844-DRY-TRIM to schedule a free demo in your area today. You can also check out Green Bros at the upcoming Lift in Toronto Expo, June 6th to 9th, and CIA San Jose, July July 22nd to 24th. And if you have your calendar out and you just feel like going crazy and setting dates, MJ BizCon Vegas, December 11th to 13th. I know it's a ways away, but if you're going to be out, plan on stopping by the Green Bros booth as well. Just a couple more minutes with Scarlet Ravin, the founder of White Fox, where spirit leads to medicine. They have 2 websites you can check out, both linked in the description of the podcast below. Whitefoxatmospheres.com has their vape products. Whitefoxnectars.com has their CBD line, okay? Scarlet, let's talk about just those 2 product lines for just a second before we jump back in. Whitefoxatmospheres.com is your vape products. What kind of vape products do you have on that site that people should be checking out?
I have ancient Ayurvedic formulations, organic CO2 extracted herbs, effect focused. So we have one for dreams. I mix THC and CBD in with that formulation. You smoke it before bed and it gives you dreams. You can smoke it during the day and also enter into a super tripped out dream state. The highs are very different from just smoking cannabis because you're absorbing the medicine from all these other herbs as well. And then we have an aphrodisiac pen for men, which brings the men's system back into homeostasis so that it remains vital, sensitive, and awake. And then we have one for women, which is great for PMS or menopause. It'll bring the woman's body back into homeostasis and awaken all those juicy sensations that lead to great sex.
Now, when I hear you describe those, it's really interesting because obviously people who don't know the industry don't know that you can't the line of making a health claims or saying this product does this or this product does that is really a fine line where like CBD products, cannabis products, you can get in trouble if you say the wrong things, but it seems like you're not claiming health benefits. You're just kind of saying, hey, this is what the reaction will be to this sort of product on average, right? You kind of have to navigate that line.
Totally. Yeah. And we did R&D for over a year and watched and tracked what was happening in people's systems and the transitions from kind of fractured health stuff. There's really a hyper intelligence within this medicine and the makeup of the herbs. So yeah, I've had it work for me and I love sharing it with people. There's always positive feedback coming from that line.
Now tell me about the CBD products you can find at whitefoxnectars.com.
The CBD products are super cosmic. The formulations were definitely channeled. They're all mixed with other herbs as well. So the effects, when you take those tinctures, the felt effects happen in 10 to 15 minutes. We have one for relaxation and tranquility, great for anxiety and depression. We have one for immunity boosting, adaptogenic herb filled, helps you with mental stamina and focus. And then we have an illuminating massage oil with herbs inside that connect you to your deeper purpose and awaken that. And a salve that you can take anywhere and use for muscle soreness, achy bones, mental relaxation.
Now, did you have a history in herbalization? I don't know what to call it. In herbs, I guess, and knowing what all these things do, or did you have to figure that out?
So that's actually a really good question because my training was with a shaman out in Crestone, Colorado. And what I trained was to connect with the spirit of the herb. So when I'm making formulations, I'm actually working in the spirit world and not so much the physical. And then what comes through is the makeup, but I'm coming more from like a 5th dimensional spirit body kind of vibe. And then we bring it into a physical product with the goal of when the people ingest it or use it topically, they're actually getting mental, emotional, physical, spiritual transitions from the medicine.
So let me try to boil that down in a way that everyone might understand a little bit more, because you use concepts I don't know if everyone's familiar with. But basically, you kind of start with the end of what do I want this person to experience or feel or to have part of their life, and then you back it up. How do I make that formulation using the knowledge that I have? Okay, and then dial it down even more to now say, okay, this is the ingredient that matches with this to form that vision, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that helps, because that's how I heard it in my head, and it makes sense to me, but I need to make sure everyone listening gets it too. Something kind of off topic, but I've been working more of these kind of recent news stories in to the podcast. And since you deal a lot in CBD and vape and all that stuff, I thought your opinion would be applicable here. Recent outgoing FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb said federal cannabis policy through the FDA could take as many as 3 to 4 years. The USDA, who also regulates CBD, is also saying multiple years before federal regulations to the CBD industry could happen. And I think that just has to make people like you go crazy, who's sitting here with a CBD product and vape products and saying, I want to move forward with these products and I want to do it in regulatory fashions that make sense. But you hear 3 to 4 years from now for federal regulations, that's got to drive you crazy, right? It doesn't seem like it's that hard.
I guess I'm kind of unique in terms of I don't really believe in time. I think there's no such thing as like a linear timetable. So what I do is I show up, I follow spirit, I make the medicine, I share the medicine. The people get it, they feel it, they're happy about it. When something comes down the pipeline that's going to regulate it, I'll be super grateful. I would love to know that it's all high up and up CBD being offered to the people. I do see a lot of stuff being imported from China and sold, and then from my position, what I do is a lot of education. I'll do a lot of talks locally. I'll share with people how to find, discover, and read about good CBD so they are being offered high quality stuff. So I'm playing my role to assist in the transition. And, you know, I feel like everything is divine. So if it's going to take 3 to 4 years, then it gives us a platform to really teach the people how to be empowered themselves and ingest proper medicine themselves.
And you mentioned people importing CBD or hemp from China and using that in products. You grow all your stuff, not you personally, but your White Fox uses all locally sourced hemp products, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. We use biodynamic organic hemp, super high vibe. There's over 38 cannabinoids within the hemp stuff. And then the CO2 extracted herbs from India that we import, that gentleman, it's a doctor that I work with out there, and he actually, he activates these little kind of farm situations where locals that don't have jobs can grow the herb, and then he buys the herb back and he does CO2 extraction. So he's creating like a vital workforce out there, and then that vibe is in the herbs that we're obtaining. So everything's very intentional, very high vibe.
Again, you can check them out, whitefoxnectars.com, whitefoxatmospheres.com for the vape products. Scarlet, let's say that this works and James ends up listening to this episode, or one of his reps does. How should he go about getting in touch with you?
He can give me a call or shoot me an email. I would say my email is Scarlet, SCARLET, at whitefoxmedicinals.com. Find me on Instagram, send me a message. I've sent his lawyer's office quite a few emails and pictures. I sent him our last interview together. I'm open, and I'm going to continue to connect with my contacts that have public platforms. I'll continue to do articles, write-ups. We'll connect.
Very exciting stuff, and I'm really wishing and hoping that you do, and certainly I'd love to follow this story on the show. So if anything happens, be it with James Cameron or be it with someone else, because you never know what happens. You put that energy into the world, and someone who has an idea like this that needs someone like you on the other side, whereas you're looking for someone on the other side, might hit you up, and we might even be talking about a future relationship that neither one of us has any idea is going to come into existence, which is very exciting stuff, and part of the reason why I thought this podcast would be so interesting. But definitely keep me updated. I'm really excited to see where it goes, okay?
I will, for sure. Thanks, Tim.
No problem. That's a little mini episode for us on the Rooted podcast this afternoon. Again, don't forget to check out Rooted TV. Our episode with Tommy Chong was just released. Our next episode with Jim Belushi will be released soon. You can find those on Cannabis Club TV, High Times TV, Harvest TV, and more. But that's going to do it for us on the Rooted podcast this afternoon. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, or StayRooted.com. My name's been Tim Stromble. I'll remind you one more time to work hard, be humble, and stay rooted. We'll see you next week, everybody.